Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Morning Talks with Ro. You got your morning drink on deck? I got mine today. I'm drinking some water. I need to do a flush for real, for real. I'm kind of grooving out to this little chill, feel good music. Wait till some of y'all populate the joint. Say hello. Hey, Shamika. How you doing, darling? We're going to be talking about mental health around the holidays, but not like in some big, deep way, unless we want to go deep. I'm just checking in with you guys. Yeah, it's morning over here. It's 11:30. Hey, Judy. How are you? Waiting for some people to come on in and say what up. I haven't been here in a minute. Let me turn this down. That's what's up. Hey, Nancy. Happy holidays to everybody. Right? Yeah, around this time of year, I find that, mental health is something that people probably could stand to check in with and make sure that they're okay. So I'm checking in on everybody to see how you are. Hey, Waylin, what up? I'm glad to hear it, Judy. Is anybody dealing with a tough time right now? Do you have a recurring, emotion that you entertain? Yeah, my buddy, shout out to Amoon, all my jewelry, dude. He's so off the chain. RB, super dope. Super, super dope. Thank you. A lot of people revisit a lot of emotions around this time of year. It may not necessarily be the healthiest thing to do, but because it's a trigger, because it's this time of year, people revisit emotions. And today we might talk about how to break that pattern if you want to. Okay. Let me see what y'all said about the playlist. Right? It's kind of fly. Hey, Rel. What up? Welcome to the conversation. Yeah. So hey, Tiffany, maybe we can talk about, what emotions everybody seems to revisit around this time of year. And you can really apply whatever we learned today to any time that you deal with a recurring emotion or a recurring thought, because you're dealing with a trigger. We're going to talk about what that trigger is, and then we're going to talk about possibly how to break the pattern with it or reverse it. What up? Let's see. Meditation and staying around friends and family. I'm going to give my granddaughter bless up. Yes. Knowing your tools, so to speak, right? If you know that being around family or friends or engaging in a certain behavior or thought process or information can help you to break a pattern, do it, right? I'll share with you something that I shared with somebody today about how to move through the pain of losing a loved one. It just so happens to be around this time of year, but it could be at any time of year that we're dealing with something like that, where a recurring thought or a recurring feeling comes up, around that time. How do you deal with that, right? Let's see what you're saying before we jump in. Hey, Morton. Hey, Power. Who assigned the holiday season a sad season? I'm not sure, but see, that's another thing, right? I don't necessarily see it as a sad season, but a lot of people, for whatever reason, do drop into a space possibly of depression. And it could have a lot to do, let me turn this down just in case you guys can't hear me, but it could have a lot to do with the shopping and the joy that's supposed to be associated with it that could be contrived, not really real. Like I remember when I stopped making myself feel obligated to go shopping. First of all, I really don't even like shopping, believe it or not. I like having nice things. Usually when I pick up more nice stuff is when I have to go pick up something else, and then I turn it into an opportunity to pick up other stuff, right? But I'm not necessarily one of those people that like to go to the mall, and just hang out and see if something tickles my fancy. That's not necessarily something I like to do. So to be forced into that space, if you will, around the holiday season was just like dreadful for me. And so, I think that And then you got to possibly be around family and or friends that maybe you have unresolved issues with. So it can bring up a lot of stuff if you're not looking at it for what it is. And you could be going through the motions like a lot of people do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it fits your narrative of happy. And I think it's okay for us to pause and look at what these holidays really mean to us on a personal level, and then to reprioritize where we put it in our lives and how much importance we give it. If we're going to force ourselves into shopping, if we're going to force ourselves into family gatherings with people that we don't really respect or want to be around, like all of that stuff possibly needs to be addressed. And believe it or not, if you give yourself permission to make new choices surrounding it, a lot of the depression that you experience could lift, because you're being honest and you're living from a space of authenticity as opposed to a space of feeling forced or coerced into something you don't want to do, right? What up, everybody? Welcome to the conversation. Let me see what you're saying. Waylon says, I have a private group and we really focus on talking it out and not being alone. Good stuff, man. Shamika says, Coach, thanks for not being a fibber. I do feel a million times better, and after self-work and healing, I'm better and came back to work for the security company where I experienced. Really good for you. Talk about an empowering move. Okay. Grief has no expiration date. Well, yes, and you could also shift this energy, and we're going to talk about a way that you possibly can, because let me turn this off. Welcome to the conversation, everybody. You're listening to Morning Talks with Ro. Okay, bless up. So, hey, Thaddeus, welcome to the conversation. Yes, like my dad, we don't have around. He passed on November 5th in 2014, and it totally changed our holiday routine. Normally we spent it at home. Even people, our family, friends, miss what we used to do because we came together at a certain time. We created certain, things around that, and now they're gone, and they're like, well, what do we do now, right? But one of the things that my family has done around my dad's passing, which has totally scrambled the pattern on the grief, totally scrambled the pattern on the sadness, is we have done something completely opposite on that day. So now they do something called the Phase 10 card tournament, right? My dad used to love to play Phase 10. So now they come together to play Phase 10, and they come out with a champion every year. And, it becomes this whole little family battle between my mom, my aunt, my uncle, and all of that. So now they're more so looking forward to this day as opposed to dreading it. Eureka, right? So what I want to suggest to you all is, around any time, whether it's the passing of a loved one, anything that triggers a negative emotion or reaction in you, what can you do opposite on that day that is going to scramble the pattern on your brain's response? This is science. You can scramble the pattern on your brain's response around a time if you put something in its opposite in its place, so to speak. Right? So if you're used to going with a more low vibrational space of being, or you're used to sulking, or you're used to crying, or you're watching something sad that further supports that energy, what can you do that will be in its opposite? Can you go to an indoor skydiving place, something that would be totally exhilarating, totally different, bring another kind of energy and joy into your life? This type of stuff breaks the pattern. If you recall, probably couple, some time ago on Morning Talks with Ro, I talked about a movie called What the Bleep Do We Know? And it's basically, there's a part in the film that talks about how when we program ourselves, because we're always getting programmed, whether we're doing it consciously or unconsciously, right? So when we start to react to things, the more often that we do it, we start to create neural connectors that come together each time. And those connectors get stronger and stronger as we continue to reinforce certain behaviors. Okay? So if you reinforce a certain emotion to something, if you reinforce a certain knee-jerk reaction to something, those neural connectors just kind of fuse together and they become a thing until you start to do something to break it apart. How do you break it apart? Do something in the opposite direction of that neural connection. Because every time you do it, it's going to feel foreign. It's going to possibly even feel uncomfortable, because if it's something you've gotten used to, even if it's a dysfunctional thing, no matter that it's dysfunctional, if it's something you've gotten used to, if it's a norm, if it's a comfort zone, you're going to go back to doing it anyway, right? So you got to be willing to be uncomfortable sometimes in order to break a pattern. But as you do that, you're going to be breaking those wirings that came together and formed that bond that keeps you responding in a similar way. So talk about that. What can you do that's in the opposite direction of how you would normally feel, or what you would normally do that would perpetuate, that would keep something going that you don't want? We decided to play a card game. Now that has a lot of joy attached to it. Totally scrambles the pattern on grief. You could go visit somebody that you absolutely love spending time with, right? And just go laugh. Go to a comedy club. Do something in the opposite direction of what you would normally do in order to break a pattern. Does that make sense to you guys? Hey, everybody, welcome to the conversation. It's Morning Talks with Ro. Let me look at what you're saying. You hate shopping. Hello. Life happens a lot around the holidays. Oh, I'm not a fan of shopping unless on vacation. I know I'm behind you guys. I like shopping when I know what I'm going for. Hello. I love that game. We play all the time. Isn't Phase 10 fun? My wife passed, and the holidays are not the same. Second Christmas without her. Let's talk about that too. I know there's more stuff that I've missed. We created a new tradition now around the holiday. So we used to do it at home in Chicago. And now that my dad is no longer here, my aunt has taken up the torch, and she started doing something at her home in Alabama. And now I look forward to that. All of our cousins come through. We have this pajama party, the night before Christmas. I mean, we've just started to create new traditions. We've started to create new fun things to do. And every year we're getting more and more creative, like, okay, well, what can we do this year that could possibly add value to what we do together? And all of this stuff changes. It scrambles the pattern. It changes your routine. And now you're putting a new emotion in that space. You're putting a new behavior pattern, a new routine in that space. And it can change how you feel. It's science. Now, we didn't approach it as a family from the space of science, but because I study behavioral science, I understand how and why it works. Hey, everybody, welcome to the conversation. Hey, Patrick, what up, PMO? So, who wants to throw out some suggestions right now about maybe some of the things that you could do different around this time of year to scramble the pattern on how you might normally feel? How could you approach this holiday season different, and how could you approach the holiday seasons moving forward from a different space? What are some of the things that we can do? Because I love when we throw suggestions into the pot. It just really stretches everybody's perspective, including my own, on what can be done. And let's start changing this stuff. Let's do it from a scientific perspective. Hello? Right? You have so much power. We have so much power to change things. However, it's going to take your effort. And it's going to take your consistency. But if you do it, imagine the results. And you get to change how you feel around not only the holiday season, but any experience that you have that you would like to change the feelings surrounding it. You can put a new behavior pattern in there and keep breaking those neural connectors that put the more negative space of being into place. You keep putting something more empowering in there, it's going to break those neural connectors after a while. And you're going to almost probably be scrambled. You're going to not even remember how you used to feel. It's not even going to have the same effect on you anymore. That's how powerful we are. That's how powerful we are. Hey, LaShonda, yes, volunteering can be amazing. Why? Because now you are exposing yourself to variety. You're exposing yourself to uncertainty. You're exposing yourself to new experiences. You're exposing yourself to new energy, right? New encounters. You're giving yourself the opportunity to serve. And serving is a high vibrational thing to do. You'd be surprised how much you can give back to yourself by serving somebody else. Doesn't it make us feel good when we feel like we've done something good for somebody else, or you've brightened somebody else's day? Or it sounds kind of cliche and corny, but it's actually a real thing. Get out there and give back and see how that feels. To go and change somebody else's moment and or change their life just because you decided to pour into them in a way that helps to remove a block, that helps to change their current space of being, that helps to scramble a pattern in their life. It can do wonders on you. It's amazing. Okay, Kendra says you covered it already. Celebrate and honor old and happy memories while creating brand new ones. Absolutely. Hey, Dee Dee. Supposed to go to a Christmas party yesterday, but taxi accident, my neck pains. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're taking care of yourself and giving yourself some good self-nurturing. That's what I did last night. We could talk about that too. Shirley says, watching happy movies do the things that make you smile or feel happy doing. Yes, like give yourself different stimuli. Give yourself different stimuli. We get to choose. We get to choose. So what can you choose that can empower you? What can you choose to focus on that's going to generate a different feeling to come up in yourself? Because by giving ourselves a new stimuli or getting ourselves in a new environment, we can produce different feelings from within ourselves. We can generate it from within. Go out there and happen to life is something I like to say, right? Go out there and find an environment to excel in. Go out there and connect with other people that can help you to focus or to sit in another space of being, vibration of being, higher space of being. Hey, Brenton. Welcome to the conversation, darling. I gave someone a free massage and it felt so good. Right. I do a lot of, free coaching. Hello. I do a lot of giving. And I do find that I receive circulation in different ways. It may not come back in the same way, but maybe that's not my balance. Right. And sometimes it does. Somebody else might give me a word when I really need it. But giving creates an incredible storehouse of things that you can eventually be able to take advantage of or just receive later. It can also change the vibration or the space of energy that you're in, put you in a more positive, more empowered space. This is stuff that you can choose to do that's going to change what you're experiencing in the moment. We don't have to wait for it to come to us. Let's happen to life. Let's go out there and choose different people or different things to associate with. Let's go look at something like Shirley was saying that's going to help us to generate a feeling of joy, generate a feeling of more empowerment, generate a feeling of more inspiration. Go find it. Because sometimes I think we forget that we have the power to choose, that we can get out there and give ourselves a different stimuli for a different experience. Right? I was talking to somebody today. I said, how did I say it? Because I never said it like this. I was like, okay, now go out there and greet Monday. I don't remember how I said it, but it was basically saying something like, make Monday happy that it greeted you today. Right? Like make Monday happy that you got up today. Make Monday happy that it's allowing you to exist today. Make God happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get out there and let's find things to connect with that's going to change our experience in the moment if we don't like it. Change what you're giving your attention to. Change who you're giving your focus to. Deprioritize something or someone if it needs to be deprioritized. Prioritize something or someone if you need to prioritize it. I needed to do that with my own self-care. I was like, yo, you got to be here right now. And I got to pause on a serious level. I must pause. Everything must wait. And it's okay. I give myself permission to pause and focus on me. Maybe some of us need to do that. All right? Let's see what you're saying. Random acts of kindness is always awesome, Kendra. That's another thing that everybody can go out and practice today. Right? Just go do something like super random. Don't do it with any expectation for something to happen in return and see how you feel. Shirley says, every year I give my clients a Christmas present for appreciation of them and they love it. Bless up. That's another thing that you can do. Right? Maybe go buy some stationery. My friend, I think this is so cool. She'll go buy stationery just on a strength. And then every once in a while, she'll sit down and just write a card out to somebody. It could be somebody she knows. It could be somebody random. It could just be a moment she wants to acknowledge, right? Write it out and seal it and then put it in their purse or something, or put it in their bag that they're carrying, or slip it under a book they're reading so that they just discover it as a gift. I mean, stuff like that can be not only enriching for the person that's receiving it, but also for you to come up with it and to feel like you're giving in that way. Practice it. Practice, practice, practice. LaShonda says, 2020, I want to travel. I'm alone for the holidays. Okay. First Christmas without both parents. Buried my dad last year, 5 days before Christmas. The day after his funeral, I drove from New Orleans to Houston to volunteer with the Marine Toys for Tots and Houston's Children's Charity for 2 days. I was the fun host, entertainment. Less fortunate parents getting toys for their kids helped my sorrow. Put some smiles on faces. I'm too tired afterwards to be sad. LaShonda went out there and happened to life. Because at the end of the day, our loved ones have passed, right? There's nothing we can do to change that. But what you do have the power to do is to give yourself a different stimulus. What you do have the power to do is to choose to entertain yourself with someone or something that's different, that's going to generate a different experience within you to bring to life. Whether that's reading a book, whether that's watching videos, whether that's going to a comedy club, whether that's going to do the indoor skydiving we talked about, whether that's going and planning a staycation in your city, whether that's going to take a vacation to another city, whatever it is, whether that's calling a mentor that you know is full of wisdom and empowerment and you just want to be around that kind of energy, it's going to be elevating and uplifting, whether you want to go out and practice random acts of kindness, like Kendra just suggested, we get to choose. You just got to go do it. Remember your power to choose, right? Thank you for that, LaShonda. Beautiful, Dee Dee. Beautiful. So I know some of you just joined the conversation. Love the words deprioritize and prioritize yourself, people, and other things. Bless up. Hey, Angel. Y'all got your morning drink on deck? I got to do a flush, man. And just in general, I'm trying to do better at taking in water. Water is like, I mean, there's so many benefits to water. It's just hard for me to drink it like that. I don't know if anybody else has difficulty drinking water. It's not like the most exciting thing for me to drink, but the benefits so outweigh the discomfort that I'm just like, let's go, let's get it. So welcome to the conversation. Welcome to Morning Talks with Ro. How's everybody feeling? We're talking about being challenged around the holiday season with emotions, but just in general being challenged around certain times they get triggered in you because, you know, it's a certain time of year, or it's a certain day, or, you know, something happened, trauma happened around a time, and maybe you keep revisiting an emotion or revisiting a thought pattern that doesn't necessarily serve you, or it doesn't necessarily make you feel good. I'm reminding us of our power to choose, and we're sharing ideas around what else can be done at these moments to scramble the pattern on yourself, create a new experience around that time of year, and then change things moving forward. How bomb is that? Water's my drink of choice. Bless up, Nancy. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. Hey, lady. So does anybody else want to share anything today about how you're feeling, or could use some insight, could use some support? I'm just checking in. I know I haven't done Morning Talks with Ro in a little bit. Soon I'm going to be starting a series to support the next launch for a round of transformation for Personal Power University. Woo-hoo! I think it starts on January 8th, 2020. So really dope way to start your year if you're looking for support in taking your living to the next level. I'm preparing myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, because I know I got a lot of stuff coming up in 2020, and I need to be on point not only for myself, but for whoever joins the PPU family. So I'm going to be probably calling it something like gearing up for 2020. What are some of the things that we can do to prepare mentally, to prepare physically, to prepare spiritually, to prepare emotionally, to make the most of not only going into a new month, not only going into a new year, but going into a new decade. About that. Hey, Miss Lady, welcome to the conversation. How about that? We're not only going into a new month, we're not only going into a new year, we're going into a new decade. There's a lot of new. Why not take advantage of it? As you know, we're psychological creatures. A lot of this stuff is mental. A lot of this stuff is perspective. Take advantage of the new. And don't think you got to do it all by yourself either. If you need to be surrounded by others who are going after their dreams, who are looking for ways to improve their existence, come and join PPU. It may be one of the best things you've ever done, because not only do we go through the 12 weeks of transformation together, we stay connected until. And then we have opportunities to come out of the digital world into the physical one every year for the annual retreats. And those, I can't even, people feel like they've walked away with friends for life. But it's just a great way to engage and to stay supported in taking the next best, bold, and powerful step towards your goals every year. So it's not just 12 weeks. It's like you got an award ceremony to come to, for the 360-degree conqueror, meaning you've improved in every area of your life. Or you sexy thing, where you have achieved a body goal. Or, the confidence award. What did you do that took your business or your personal life to the next level because you exercised more confidence? There's like 5 award categories. These are the things we run every year so that people are always motivated to take the next best step. And I look forward to seeing what it's going to become as we continue. Hey, April. Welcome to the conversation, beauty. So does anybody want to share anything before I get out of here? You got me. Do you need any support or some insight for anything? Hey, Tracy. How you doing? 'Cause I's here. We complete? Shirley says, I accepted that Christmas is not going like I would be this year because of this. I made the choice to make it happy Christmas for ourselves and still enjoy it. Bless up. I mean, really, at the end of the day, I feel like that's life in general. What are we going to choose to do with what we have? How are we going to focus our energy and attention? Where are we going to focus our energy and attention? Who are we going to share that energy and attention with? What will you do? Right? These are all choices that we get to make. We don't have to be a victim of this time of year. Let's change it. Thank you, Shirley. Transparent moment. Okay, bring it. Bring it, Miss Lady. Bring it. Monday, you were down. You prayed and shifted your mindset on Monday night. Tuesday, met 50 Cent. I saw that. That was a cute little picture. Put my nonprofit info in his hands. Then Wednesday, Jessica Dupart posted me on her IG. And Thursday, I was tipped money and a Samsung tablet at a casino event I worked. I shifted my mindset. Bless up. Posted pics of all of it and inspiration on my page for others still looking for a job. Pray for me. Bless up. Good for you. All the best to you with finding the perfect fit for you in the space of employment. But it sounds like you're on the right path. Just working on you. Working on you, becoming a greater version of yourself is going to make you more valuable to the marketplace. So if anybody is struggling with something, just start working on yourself. Just start improving yourself. You'd be surprised how your circumstances and the people around you will improve because you're working on you. And you're consciously making new choices that put you in a better mind state, a better physical state, a better spiritual state, a better emotional state. Things will shift when you get consistent about stuff like that. Let's see. I'm about to divorce. Should I date or just continue my time alone? I mean, that's a personal decision, right? But I highly recommend that you take some time to see who you are now. Where are you? Are you running from sitting with your own psychology, sitting with your own mind, sitting with your own heart space? Because we don't want to bring baggage, do we, into our next relationship. Let's clean it up. Let's let some things go. Let's shed tears if we need to shed tears. Right? Not let anybody else or make anybody else be a crutch for our own personal healing that needs to be done, possibly. Hey, Cuzzo. Happy holidays. I love you too. Oh. Any advice on figuring out what you are attracting? What do you mean by that, Brenton? Flesh that out for me a little bit. Are you attracting something that you don't want? Or are you just trying to up-level what you're attracting? What are you saying? You said, I've been meditating and doing sleep meditation. I'm getting myself together. Good, good. Keep doing the work on you. Anything you want to improve in life, anything, start here first. You. Start on you. Start working on you. Become a greater version of yourself, whatever that means to you. What is a greater version of yourself? What does it look like? What would it feel like? Do you need to create a vision board or a vision book that you can carry around with you that's going to keep you inspired to do that? Do you need to write it down so that it becomes real? You know, it's one thing to try to hold this stuff in our mind, which is trying to manage a gazillion other thoughts, right? Write it down, make it plain. What does a greater version of you look like? And then once you figure that out, what does your ideal life look like? What would you need to do? Who would you need to become in order to achieve it? What would you need to surround yourself with? Hey, Jorday, please elaborate about not letting people be a crutch, leeches, and steal your joy. Well, I think that, you know, this is something that we've probably touched on as it pertains to being in touch with your values and your boundaries. A lot of us, if we're too busy people pleasing and not in touch with who we really are, not in touch with what we really desire in life. Because if you get clear about what's important to you and you get clear about values, so values could be, I value family. Just an example. I value honesty. I value integrity. I value hard work. I value drive in other people. I value kindness in other people. It could be whatever you value. Get in touch with that. And then, is your life a reflection of your values? Because if it is, a lot of people that you might entertain right now, you wouldn't entertain anymore. A lot of things and behaviors that you may entertain in this moment, if you get in touch with what's really important to you and you have your boundaries in place, they will naturally become deprioritized in your life or removed. Right? And then maybe some of the people or things that you need to be entertaining, you would be like, oh, no wonder I'm not happy. I'm not really surrounding myself with people and things that are a reflection of my value system. I'm not really surrounding myself with people and things that are a reflection of boundaries that I have. I've been letting people walk all over my boundaries. I've been letting situations encroach all over my boundaries. Right? So just getting in touch with what's important to you and then asking yourself the honest question of, am I a reflection of those things? Is my life a reflection of those things? Am I surrounded by things that are a reflection of those things? Can change the decisions that you make moving forward. Right? Hey, Terry, welcome. Still doing the work to be my greater version. I don't know if that work ever stops. Like people to date, energies to advance you in career goals, as well as finance. Yeah, all of this stuff, I think clarity is key. Clarity is key. What would your ideal life look like? If you could have what you wanted, if you took the censor away, the voice in you that's like, I don't know how you would get to that. Don't write that down. No. Put that thing away and give yourself permission to just be free in writing down whatever you would like to experience in life, even if you don't know how you would get there. Just write it down. Get clear about that. What would you like to look like? What's a body goal? If you feel like your body isn't where you want it to be, well, where do you want it to be? Write it down. There's something about taking this stuff out of your mind's eye and putting it on paper or speaking it and speaking it. There's something about using all of your faculties together to create. and to stay aware of where you're going. Because a lot of the times, for example, last night I had a lot of stuff on my brain. I was like, oh my God, I got to do this. I got to do that. I still got to achieve this. I still got to achieve that. I was like, whoa, go get a pen and paper right now. First of all, you got to unload, because that's a lot of stress. That's a lot of turning over of thoughts, right? How many of us be trying to keep everything in our mind? That's too much. It's probably wearing you out, stressing you out. Work counterproductive. Write it down. Once I write it down, I'm like, ooh, okay, it's on paper. You don't have to remember that anymore. Relax. Same thing with your goals. Sometimes we don't write this stuff down. You forget where you're going. There's so much stimuli. There's so much stuff going on that's always trying to get your attention. You know, they say attention is the new currency. You're paying with attention now. They want your attention. Who doesn't want your attention? The advertisers, this, that. They want your attention. So if you don't give your own stuff your attention, it can be like gone. You forget you wanted that, right? You'll forget where you're going. You'll forget that you wanted something. You'll forget that you were on track with something. Write it down. Please, everybody, support yourself by writing stuff down and putting it in a place where you're going to remember, oh, that's where I'm going. Write it down every day. It sounds, like, oh, write it down. A lot of the champions, you hear them say, I write it down. Whether you use an electronic device to do it or you use actual physical writing tool, write it down so it makes it plain, it makes it real, and it keeps your brain focused on you and where you're going. So get clear about your ideal life. Get clear about your ideal self and what you think that would look like, how it would feel to have it. And as much as you can, get into the feeling space of having it. But first, just get your vision clear. And then what would you need to do to achieve it? Who do you need to surround yourself with to achieve it? What behavior patterns do you need to change to achieve it? What do you need to do away with to achieve it? What do you need to start doing to achieve it? Who do you need to become to achieve it? How? Sometimes asking the next person can point you in another direction of another resource. And then asking another person. Ask. It's one of the greatest resources everybody has that they don't use. And you don't have to pay nothing for it. Some of my biggest strides in my career have come from asking. Sometimes even when it comes to love, let people know that you're ready for love. Sometimes they don't even know that you're ready for love. So they can't suggest, oh, really? I think you would be amazing to meet such and such. Right? Get out there and happen to life. Don't wait for it to necessarily. Sometimes you got to go to the parties that you think you didn't want to go to, but maybe that's where you're going to meet them. Sometimes you got to, I don't know, you got to get out there. Stretch. Do some uncomfortable things sometimes. Not something that's, a calculated risk. Not something that's going to put you out, But if it's uncomfortable, but it could possibly bring you some good reward, stretch. Finances. There's a place, I think I might have suggested this to you, Brenton, but if you have not experienced it, and I think you did, a Millionaire Mind Intensive comes to lots of major cities. Free seminar. They're going to sell their butts off to you. But the free information was life-changing for me. I went there for the first time in 2011. Turned around my financial picture. I developed new financial behavior patterns. I started saving for real for the first time. And I nickeled and dimed, literally pennied, nickeled and dimed my way into a savings again. Completely changed everything. And I did the work. They needed us to do something called vaxing for 90 days. It was like some specific things that you said, that you physically did, and that you mentally entertained for 90 days. You think I didn't do it? See, some people, they want the results, but you got to do the work. 90 days staying consistent with something is not necessarily the easiest thing to do, is it? But if it's important for you enough, that's why I like to work with people whose backs are against the wall or who are super incredible high achievers, because both of them are going to be willing to do the work to get into another space of being. The ones with their backs against the wall are probably completely fed up, tired, and are like, I just cannot continue life like this. Yeah, well then come on, now you ready to do the work. I was ready to do the work. I was like, I got to turn my financial picture around. Period. Let me see what y'all are saying. I am very mad and disappointed. Somebody, he lie a lot. I'm thinking should give him just ignore. Yeah, Dee Dee, remember to get in touch with your value system. And if this person is not a reflection of it, make some new choices. Thank you. I'll continue my alone time. It's very refreshing, honestly. Good. Brendan says, context. I went to an event and realized I'm not sure who I am attracting in the dating realm, which make me think I'm attracting opportunities. I'm not sure that I understand to propel my career. Well, good. And sometimes there's seasons, right, for things. We may think we want something, but maybe we need to prepare a little bit more personally to receive that thing that we desire, that would really be in alignment with what we desire. So it always, for me, comes back to just keep becoming a greater version of yourself. And let's see how your attraction point shifts. Right? Ed, Shonda says, amen. Visualize and manifest in my great life. Good. A life planner is really cool to have and write everything down. Good. Yes. Kendra says, maybe take a break from them. At least you don't deserve to be lied to. Okay. Hello. What's the name of the seminar again? Screen frozen, no sound. It's called the Millionaire Mind Intensive by Peak Potentials is the company. MMI by Peak Potentials is the company. Check it out if it comes to a major city near you. Life-changing for me. Okay? Sending love out, you guys. Like I said, if you are interested in joining the PPU family, that launch is coming up very soon. You can put yes in the comments even now. I think we're going to start on January 8th, 2020. Could be an amazing way to start your year. Could be an incredible decision, I think, for yourself, for your life. I deal with emotional trauma. So if you got some healing to do in an emotional and spiritual area, we can start to do the work on that. The 12 weeks will just get you started. And then we can continue from there. If you want to get your engine started for your goals, let's deal with that. If you want to continue and have accountability, let's deal with that. PPU can be a wonderful place to do that self-work that's needed. I call it a vulnerability playground. Not many of us give ourselves the opportunity to have a gift like that, to actually work on you in a space that's safe. Come get it in. You did it last year and noticed some changes in the way you view money. Yeah, I've gone back. I think I went back in either 2014. I want to say it was probably 2014. I went back. And then I got more from it. You know how I like to talk about layers. Like, as we evolve, we could take in the same information, but get another layer of understanding about it, just because you've evolved. And then the information comes in a bit differently, and you can gain more, especially if you look for it. Yeah. Hey, Victor. Welcome. I know, I'm so excited for you, Brenton. Glad you're going to make it to the retreat. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be in LA this year for those of you who might be curious. So we're in the process of making that an amazing experience coming up next year. Wow, is 2020 going to be a powerful year. Okay, so I'm sending love to everybody. I hope that you've gained from today's conversation. It feels like a lot of good stuff came out. I know, Kendra, I think you sent me an email, so we're going to see what we can do to get you on track for attending the retreat, because I think it's worth it. Okay? Like, majorly worth it. Okay, I'm sending love out to everybody. I hope you've been well. Happy holidays, right? Here's to making things even more amazing by the choices that we make. Remember your power to choose. And if you've missed some of this broadcast, go back and check it out. Lots of good jewels here today. Okay? Everybody have a great one. I'll see you next time. And we'll be starting this new series in support of the launch for the next round of transformation at PPU on January 8th, 2020. It's going to be gearing up for 2020. I'm going to be bringing you tools on how you can prepare to make the most of going into not only a new month, not only a new year, but a new decade. Okay? Until then, bye.